Never tell a new man how the old one hurt you. Get in here, get in here, get in here. I'm going to tell you the thing that you never, ever tell a man in your life, especially a new one. Maybe once he's established in your life, in your a relationship with him, and even then, I still question if you should tell him this, okay? You never tell a man that you are getting to know about how the old one hurt you. Your old trauma stories, your sympathy soap operas. About, my ex did this, my ex did that. I was so good to him, but he did this, he did that, blah, 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 blah. Stop telling people that. First of all, don't nobody really want to hear that story. No way. Your girlfriends are tired of hearing about it. Let's start there, okay? They polite and they nice. They tired of hearing about that. But especially a man, what you doing is you teaching him how he should treat you. Listen when I say this, okay? Men always want to be just a little bit better than your last one. He's not trying to outperform the last one by that much. He's trying to just outperform him by just a little bit. And so when you tell that man that your ex was a narcissist, when you tell that man that your ex used to talk crazy, when you tell that man your ex used to cheat on you, that your ex used to do whatever to you, what you're really telling him is that all he has to do is literally be just a little bit better than that last one. If he can be just a little bit better than your ex, then he know that that's all you need. You're telling him that your bar is low. You're telling him that this is all that you will accept because you've accepted less in the past. You're not teaching him to treat you better. What do you think you're doing? You think a lot of women do this, right? And this is how y'all end up, I can say this from being a coach, right? From doing relationship and dating coaching and femininity coaching for women. The women who I see in the absolute worst situations when it comes to dating and relationships are always women who just came out of one really bad relationship. And then they get into a new relationship. And it's not because it's a new relationship or they got into it too quick. It's not like a rebound situation. I mean, that is what it is. But it's not because it's a rebound. It's because they get with these new men and these new men become aware of how the last men treated them, right? Because they tell these men about it. And then they wonder why after a couple months, this man is treating them equally as bad as the last one, if not worse. It's because these men out here, especially predatory men, they are attracted to broken women. So that's number one. Predatory men are like sharks in the water. When they see blood, when they smell blood, that's what they're going for. They don't want the strong woman who's always been treated well because that means that the standard is high for him and he doesn't want to have to meet a standard that another man has set. He doesn't want to have to do that. So he wants to go for the broken ones. And even the ones who are halfway decent, the men who are halfway decent, I'm telling you this right now. When they come across a woman and she got a bunch of sympathy stories, sob stories, victim stories, all this other stuff about what happened to her, not saying that the stories aren't real. I'm not taking away from the validity of your stories and what happened to you. But what I'm saying is when you tell him all these things that happened to you in the past and everything like that, you think that you're activating him to be your savior. Oh, if I tell him all this, then he's going to understand how to be a good man for me, how to be my savior. And he's going to be like, yeah, that's right. Oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. You know, I'd never do that to you. Girl, you're right. He's not going to do that to you. He's going to do just a little bit better. Just a little bit better. But not that much better. You tell him what your floor is. You tell him what your bottom is. You tell him what your standard is. And yes, this applies to family too. They don't need to hear about how your mama traumatized you and how your daddy abandoned you. Because all he going to hear is daddy issues. They don't need to hear about how you got this problem with that relative and that problem with this person. They don't need to hear that. What do they need to hear about your past? Only the good information. I know some of y'all can say, that sounds so inauthentic, MJ. Let me cook, baby, all right? Let me cook. You know I'm taking you someplace, and it's going to be better than where you at right now. So listen close, all right? And for those of you who are asking, how do you schedule a coaching session with me? Click the link that's directly above or below this video, or the link that's on my Instagram page, or the link that's on my social media pages in general. You'll see it that you can schedule a session with me. I think I'm booked out for like the next week and a half to 2 weeks. So if you see a session, grab a session. And also don't be afraid to get my new book, my best-selling book. It ain't that new now. It's over a year. It's called Get Out of Your Own Way, Guides to Letting Go of Stuff That's Holding You Back. Excuse me. When it comes to these men, listen to me when I say this right now, okay? When he says, why you and your ex break up? Girl, this is your moment to shine. This is your moment to define, not just to shine, but to define how this man will view you and treat you. So don't you say, well, my ex is a narcissist, my ex is this, my ex is that. Girl, get that out of your mouth. What do you say? We grew apart, you know. We did have some really great times together, but, you know, we just evolved. And over time, we just realized that life would be better with us, you know, just no longer being in a relationship. But what about you? What about you and your ex? Why'd you break up? Where's the lie? Did you not? You realized he was a narcissist and therefore you wanted to get away from him. Is that not growing apart? Where's the lie? Right? Telling the truth is not how about like this? I gotta say in reverse. Oversharing is not telling the truth. Y'all think, well, but I feel like I should I'm not being transparent. No, you are accustomed to oversharing. And because you're accustomed to oversharing, you believe that unless you're oversharing, you're not telling the truth. Girl, what I'm telling you, the truth is the truth. But there's a such thing as a truth, and there's another thing as oversharing the truth. Not everybody's entitled to all that information. You say, what happened to your ex? My ex was, didn't treat me that well. And everything like that. You know, he left me broken, everything like that. Blah, 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 blah. And that's why I got trust issues today. Why are you telling a man that? No. You don't tell him that. What you tell him is, he'd be like, so why'd y'all break up? Well, I think we really loved each other. I mean, we had a wonderful bond, but, over time, I think we just wanted different things in life. Oh, for real? What did you want in life? I just think that I wanted a partner who I had more in common with for the future, and I thought that was him. He probably thought that was me too, but we weren't that. You know the approach I call it? I call it the Hollywood approach. You know why I call it the Hollywood approach? It's how you remember how to do it the right way. You act like you're sitting in an interview, like you're a Hollywood star, okay? You're a Hollywood star. And you act like you're sitting in an interview, right? And then when you act like you're sitting in the interview, you answer as if you're a Hollywood star. If somebody were to ask Beyonce, well, Beyonce ain't telling her business. Let's start there. Let's talk about somebody else. If somebody was to ask, I don't know, pick a celebrity, right? Their business, right? How would they answer it? Right? Perfect example. Viola Davis. Okay. I love her to death, right? She's always promoting a movie or something like that. She's a huge star. If you were to see Viola Davis or Julia Roberts or any of them on an interview when they're promoting their movies and someone to ask, so we have to ask, tell us about blah, 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 blah that happened in your life. It doesn't matter what it is, if it's their personal business, they want to answer it as nice as possible. Well, I'll tell you that we just are so happy with what happened. And, the outcome was different than what we expected. But, everyone's just doing so great. And we're just so happy to be looking towards the future. But what about yourself? You need to know what to share and what not to share with a man. Let me tell you this right now. There is not one man on this earth who is your savior. I don't care how much money he got. I don't care how caring he acts. I don't care about none of that. I'm not saying he's a bad person, but these men are not your saviors. Okay? And if that man ain't your man for real and you don't know his character inside and out, he also is not your friend. Okay? This is another human being that you're sitting across from when you're just getting to know somebody, you're just starting to date or however it is. This is another human being that you're sitting across from that if you give them enough access, they can be your next triumph or they can be your next trial. Okay? They can be the next person to victimize you or they can be the next person to take you into victory. And the best way that you can protect yourself from the wrong type of people, even outside of men, is do not tell them information about your past that includes sharing about how your last ex did you wrong, this person that hurt you and everything like that. You need to keep your brokenness, your broken places, and your trauma to yourself. That is for you, your therapist, your mama, if you talk to her about this stuff. It's for somebody else other than him. Do you know how many women that I sit across from, right? How many women I sit across from when I'm in sessions and everything else like that. And they're telling me about how a man done did them dirty and everything like that. And my question is, was he aware of what happened in your last relationship? 'Cause I know you said your last relationship wasn't that great. Yeah, I told him about it. Oh, well, there you go. There you go. There you go. You told him about the standard that you allowed the other one to meet, which was basically doing barely nothing. So what do you think he's going to do? Don't even tell him about your last one being broke. Yeah, my ex, he ain't do nothing. He ain't pay for nothing. I had to pay for everything and blah, 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 blah. Because see, in your mind, you thinking if I tell him that he gonna want to outdo my ex. Nope. He gonna know that you spent 5 years with a man, not even going 50-50. You was paying 80-20. You was basically paying for everything, right? You was paying for everything, right? And then what ends up happening from there? He gonna say, well, shoot, if I do even 50-50, that's better than this last one. Some of y'all wonder, why is he always gonna go 50-50? Because you told him that the last one wasn't paying for nothing. So 50-50 is better than what you had before. Take it or leave it. I'm better than what you had for the last 5 years. You see what I'm saying? And another point that I think is really important to think about. When you tell a man about how messed up your ex was, if the man has even an ounce of emotional intelligence, and definitely if he has a lot of it, you know what else he's going to think? Well, what was wrong with you? Because if this man was all these horrible things, why'd you stay so long? Why was you there that long? Oh, MJ, it's complicated. The mindset of a victim is that sometimes we sit through things that are in a bad place. I see my cousin on here, Kendra. Girl, this ain't no psychology class. Ain't nobody thinking about no victim mindset and all that kind of stuff. We talking about how humans relate to each other. And that man is not trying to hear some victim story about another man. Because what he's going to think, if he has some common sense or has a sister or a mother or a female friend to talk with about you, somebody with some sense, he's going to eventually come to the realization that you have a history of being in relationships with men who treat you poorly. So it's either that you really make poor choices in spouses consistently, which, hey, honey, I'm the last one to talk about good or bad choices because we've all made good and bad choices in spouses, okay? It is what it is, right? Everybody is figuring it out as we go. But the question becomes, hold on. What did she do to him, if anything? It may not be a valid question in your mind, but it's a valid question for him to think about. Beyond that, the next question becomes, hold on, I wonder what his side of the story would be if I asked him, because how is it that she didn't have bad relationship, and she the common denominator? And she want me just to think she's just some innocent victim? Baby, even if you the worst, most toxic woman on earth, I'm going to tell you this right now. You setting yourself up for men to question your credibility and to question your worth. When you sit up here and meet them and you tell them these victim stories about your past, why is it relevant for him to know this information? Why is it to let him know about the trauma I experienced he can understand about me? How about you let a therapist know about the trauma you experienced? How about you get into some coaching and process through some methods for you to be able to move forward in a relationship in a healthy way? How about you do that? So that you don't have to show up through the lens of your trauma. Why are you trying to tell a man about how to navigate your stuff from the past when you could just work through that stuff so that it doesn't have a relevant impact on your relationship today? He doesn't need to know about the fact that your man cheated on you with your best friend. Because now he's not going to trust even your friends. And hopefully you ain't got that person around anymore. Now he's not going to trust your judgment. But I'm going to tell you what's even worse. When you tell a man about all the stuff you done been through and blah, 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 let me tell you what happens then. A man sees you as weak. He sees you as weak. Oh, baby, I can tell you, honey. I'm your best friend and your coach. I can tell you. You can get mad at me all you want. That's why I can tell you the truth. He see you as weak. He see you as wounded. He see you as stupid. You telling me you let a man play you like that? Yeah, haven't we all? Let's be real about it, right? If we was all straight up and just told each other even about all the stuff that we done put up with because of men, honey, we'd all look stupid. So I ain't judging you. I'm just trying to teach you game so you ain't got to go out here and walk around with your worst mistakes on your sleeve where he can see them. If you want this man to see you as the empowered, smart woman who is deserving of every good thing today, why are you sitting up here telling him about the weak, misled, silly girl who was making poor decisions with poor judgment? Why are you telling them that? Shut your mouth. Don't nobody need to know about that. Even your friends don't need to know about all that stuff. Because some of your friends who you sitting around here going to brunch with, hanging out with, some of those girls ain't your friend. Some of those girls are envious of you, and they just want to be around you so they can get access to some of the light that you give off. That male attention that you attract, they want to be near you so they can catch some of it. That glamour and all that beauty that you give, they want to be around you so they can catch some of your light, some of your breeze. Right? And they sitting around you looking for your weaknesses. They sitting around here looking for something about you. They don't know how they're going to use it, but they looking for it. Stop telling these women that you hanging out with about your wounded past. She is not your sister. She is simply another woman. You don't know her like that. You got some family members you shouldn't be telling all your business to. Why you tell this girl your business that you met barely a couple months ago? Girl, I went through the same thing. Girl, I don't care if we went through the same thing or think we went through the same thing, okay? We are not kindred spirits. They be like, oh, you're so private. I'm not private. I just don't have anything to share. Well, we're all sharing about what we went through because, you know, people love to sit and talk about what they went through. We're all sharing about what we went through. What happened to you? Haven't you been through something before? Nothing like this, you know. Well, okay, girl, well, why'd you break up with your ex? We grew apart. He's such a wonderful guy. Yeah, Tom was so wonderful. Martavius, oh, he was amazing. Juan, I love Juan and his mother. Such wonderful people. Now, they be maybe thinking in their mind, oh, she is so fake. I can't stand her. That's okay. Because, honey, they're not going to be able to hold that back. So the minute you feel that energy coming off of them, that low vibration energy, just you remember, don't go back around those girls. But you don't tell these women nothing about what some man done did to you, honey. We ain't here to commiserate with other broads about what happened to us. We're here to build towards a better future. If you want a better future, why are you sitting up here talking in your sister circle about what that man did to you? Is this a therapeutic support group? No. Is this a confidential coaching session? You want to commiserate with me, honey? Tell me everything. Now, just know I'm going to give you some steps and some tips on how to move forward. But, honey, let it all out. I hear everything. My God, I hear everything. And I don't judge nothing. After you done heard all the stuff I heard, you can't judge nothing, no way. There are spaces and places for you to be able to open up. I'm not telling you to shut down and be ashamed of your past or what you done been through. What I'm talking about is being selective and strategic and intelligent about where you give that valuable information. Some of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. You confide in the man about all the stuff you done been through, and all it takes is one bad argument. And you talking about, I don't know why you mad at me like this. I don't treat you like your ex treat you. I treat you better than that. What? So what? Now you don't have a right to voice your concerns or voice your issues with him because he claimed he better than the last one? What? You don't ever want to be in that position. Let me tell you this. You train men on how to treat you by teaching them the standard of all the good that came before you. Before him, I should say. That's how you train men. He asked about your ex. It was amazing. Yeah, my ex. I don't care if your ex was 25 horrible things. Did he have at least 5 good things? Talk about those. Well, so what? Describe your ex. He was very generous. Truth of the matter is, he just bought you gifts when you got mad at him. He thought you was going to leave him. That's how you got that bag and how you got that car. It's because he was trying to keep you. But hey, generosity is what it is. He was very generous. Oh, he was so generous. He was very attentive. I never felt unseen by him. Girl, he was possessive and controlling and watching all over you, but we don't say that. We say attentive. He was very attentive. I never felt like like he didn't care about what was happening in my day. He was affectionate. He was definitely affectionate. I just think that we grew apart, and like, do y'all still talk? No, I mean, no, we don't. But I think the reason why we don't is because when we found closure, that was enough for us. You know what I mean? We have closure, and wherever he's at in the world, I'm sure it is a wonderful, blessed place. And I wish him the best. Enough about me. I can just go on forever. Tell me about you. Tell me about you. How long were you and your ex together? What inspired you all to transition and out of being in a relationship? Girl, I'm saying every good thing. And let me tell you, it works. Let me tell you, it works. I will tell you this one quick story real fast, and I gotta go. I already got my glam on because I gotta go. So I met this guy. We barely knew each other for that long of a time, right? We was DM, right? He's good looking, everything like that. I knew he had a couple coins because I knew when he would post, I could see his cars and stuff like that. So I knew he was, set up. But I wasn't looking for nothing like that, right? Because I had a couple dollars in my pocket, not a lot, but I had enough. By this point in my life, I was able to pay my rent every month without having to worry about it. So life was all right. You know what I'm saying? When you go from not being able to pay your rent to being able to pay it, I was like, I felt rich at that point. So anyway, listen. So when we were talking, he would ask me questions like, so you single? I was like, yeah, I'm single. So I was. And he was like, oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. So like, when was your last relationship? Well, we ended about a year ago. Yeah. Girl, if it's under a year, girl, he don't want to hear that because he thinks that the man could come back. I'm just telling you what I'm telling you. Don't lie, but I'm just telling you what you need to know. It's about a year ago, a little over a year ago, I guess. And he was like, oh, that's what's up. So like, I mean, you beautiful, you special, all those good things. Like, why would any man not fight to keep you in his life? You see how they do that? They kind of butter you up. They butter you up to try to get it out you. They're not stupid. Why would any man not fight to keep you in his life? I couldn't imagine ever want to let you go. What is it? Like, so what happened? Girl, you can't butter me up. You can't butter me up to that point where I forget about how to stay within my feminine power, honey. Please. No. I kept my composure. Thank you so much. I'm sure whoever had you before you started DMing me was very lucky as well. But you asked what now? Make him repeat it. Why y'all break up? Honestly, I feel so silly saying this. He was an amazing provider. He was an amazing provider. Very attentive. Y'all know what that's code for. So attentive, and just, I always felt seen. And it really just, he really, really stood in there for me. I mean, like, I never had to worry about anything, financial, material, anything in any way, shape, or form. But honestly, I just think that because he was just so ambitious, it made more sense for him to focus on his goals. Sometimes you're just not in a space to be able to maintain a relationship. And I think it just made more sense for him to focus on his goals. And so we just parted ways. He was a workaholic. What about you? Girl, I think the next day, literally, after talking about that, maybe it's the next day or 2 days later, right? I told him that, right? It was something that was going on. You know, I say, don't ever be afraid to tell a man about your financial troubles. You don't tell him about no man troubles. You can tell him about your financial troubles. I'm just saying. Your mama didn't teach you, but I will. He asked me, he was like, yeah, how you doing this particularly? I was like, I'm good. I'm honestly just stressed out. He said, why are you stressed out? I was like, it's probably small to you, but it's really stressing me out. He's like, what? I told the truth. I was like, I have this bill to pay, and I don't know how I'm going to pay it, and it's really stressing me out. Like, I'm really worried about it. I didn't sleep last night, and so on and so forth. How much is it? I was like, I think it's like $1,300. Let me see. $1,327, I think. Something like that, right? He's like, you got Zelle or Cash App? I have to play dumb. For what? You got Zella Cash App. I'm asking you a question. Answer. I mean, I have both, but I use Zelle more. Keep a straight face. Keep a straight face. But I use Zelle more. All right, cool. And then he went on. Girl, it wasn't 5 minutes after I got that phone. Whatever that little notification was. I got $1,500. I did not ask for it. Right? So, of course, as soon as I got it, girl, you always be appreciative. You always be gracious. I got on that phone immediately. Oh, my God. Thank you so much. Why did you do this? You didn't have to do this. Thank you so much. Oh, my God. Thank you so much. You don't know how much stress is unloaded off me. Blah, 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 blah. I was telling the truth. It didn't let a lot of stress off me. I'm very authentic. Right? You know why? Oh, my God. This is so amazing. Blah, 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 blah. He was like, it's all right. It ain't nothing for me. He's like, but just know I got you. I got you. You shouldn't be worrying about nothing. I got you. I got you. What was he letting me know? Whoever that other dude was, listen to it, girls. Whoever that other dude was sounded amazing. This is what he heard. When you describe your ex in a really good way, what he hears is that other dude sounds amazing. Amazing enough that if he were to come back around, he could get you again. Right? Right? Because he hearing all the good things. So he going to try to be better than that other dude from the past to let you know you don't ever have to go back to that. I'm where you at now. That's why you describe the new one in a good way. That's why when you talk to the new one, you describe the old one in a good way. You're not lying. You focusing on the good traits. Because A, you're setting a standard. Listen, girls. You're setting a standard of what you are accustomed to. Number one. But number two, what you're doing is giving him a standard to meet, because in the back of every man's mind, what he thinks is, if the other one was so good, why are you not still with him? And what happens if old boy pops up again? The more you know. The more you know. I'm telling you how men think, because if you can't see it, I'm a man. I'm a gay one. I'm a pretty one. Girl, I'm a man. Feminist, I don't know what, but I'm a man. I'm telling you how men think. Girl, stop telling them your stories, thinking that if they hear your victim story, they're going to turn into your savior. Stop telling about your past pain, thinking that that's going to activate the protecting them. Stop. All it's going to do is activate parts of him that you don't want to experience. You tell him only good information about your ex, even if it's only 3 things. If you're like, I don't know what I can say, girl, then practice it. Use ChatGPT or something. Like, talk about your ex. Like, what are 3 ways I could make this man sound good while telling the truth? And then use that. It's your elevator speech. Figure it out. And then maybe down the road, some of y'all be like, well, what if he finds out that my ex really wasn't worth nothing down the road? Is he going to think I lied to him? No, he's not. I'm going to tell you the sweet spot in this. This is what's really good. Listen, this is what's really good. Let's say, all right, so you done told him this. You set the standard. Now y'all been dating 6 months, 9 months, even a year, right? And then something comes up about your ex, right? However it comes up, he be like, baby, I didn't know that happened to you. What you mean that your ex was like that? Why didn't you tell me that? Because honestly, I never wanted to define him just by that one experience. We had some challenging days, but all the other things I talked about, his generosity, his attentiveness, those were things that really made the relationship great when it was great. And the other parts weren't great, which is obviously, part of why we're not together. But ultimately, I prefer to focus on the good things, because he was a really wonderful man. He really took such good care of me. You know what he's going to think? You got good character. He gonna think, you know what? She legit. She ain't like these other ones out here who's dragging men on Instagram, talking about everything that they ex done did. And the fact you still called him a good man, and he was a good guy. He was a good guy. He's had some challenges, but he was a good guy. He always still held the standard, took good care of me. He gonna know that you still view that man positively, which keeps a little bit of fear in the back of his mind. What if dude come around and he change? Would she go back? Will she leave? You see what I'm saying? A man should always feel what's in your Rolodex. He should always feel what happens, who could pop up from your past. When he thinks that there's nothing but star players in your past, he's always worried. Not worried in a bad way, but he's always going to try to maintain a certain standard because he don't know who could pop back up. But when you talk about your ex like they just a bunch of bench warmers, ain't worth nothing, girl, he ain't got no competition because he know your standards low. He ain't got to do nothing. So never tell a man about your brokenness, your broken hearts, or your traumas from your past. That is not his business. All he needs to know is about the standards that have been set from your past that he needs to meet and exceed. If this message is something you like and click share, and get my book. It's called Get Out of Your Own Way, A Guide to Letting Go of the Stuff That's Holding You Back. It's available on Amazon and where books are sold. Just search MJ Harris. You'll see the cover. It's a gold cover. And if you'd like to schedule a one-on-one private coaching session with me, click the link that's directly above or below this video, or the link that's on my social media pages. You'll see it right there. And you can schedule with me. Keep in mind, my sessions do go quickly. So even when you DM me saying, please fit me in, I can't take away time from anyone else. I make a very limited amount of time available each week for coaching. So if you want a session, book it even if it's a couple weeks out, because if you don't take it, somebody else will take it. All right, y'all. Have a good one. And remember what I said. Don't be telling these men all your business.